Question every in pursuit of your purpose. Ask yourself, what if?
Well, welcome back to another one of our weekly episodes of the Pursuit of Purpose podcast with the series of live shows in the What Are We Doing series. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And I'm going to let Chuck introduce our topic for the day.
So our topic today is going to be how to spot a fake leader versus how to discover a real leader.
There you go. And the premise for the show, just to give you a little more definition on leadership and kind of how we here at the Pursuit of Purpose, believe in it and teach it. Fake leaders, just to make it really simple, fake leaders always have an answer. They always have an answer.
Yes.
They're just, they feel compelled.
Right.
To always be talking.
Right. I don't know if that's part of the ego or they think they should, but they always have an answer.
And a fascinating thing about when you learn how to discover true leaders, and I say true leaders because a true leader doesn't necessarily have to be in a position of leadership. A true leader can operate as a leader anywhere they exist.
Yes.
You can be by yourself and be a true leader.
Right.
Because you are a leader of none until you're a leader of one. It has to start from within.
That works. That's right.
But how to spot a true leader is a typical true leader will always be seeking the truth.
Yes.
They won't always know that they have it.
Right.
They just know that they want it. So how do you know? How do you spot somebody who's constantly seeking the truth? So what does a person who seeks anything always have?
A curiosity, nonetheless.
Questions.
So
real leaders, true leaders, have more questions than answers.
Yes.
And the directive usually behind those questions is not to impugn you or make you feel small or make anyone feel small.
Right.
But it's to help you discover the answer for yourself.
Yes.
Because real leadership leads.
Right.
And
they draw it out.
Yes.
Instead of the answer people are trying to put it in.
So that's the whole premise of this show, and I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot of things. I'd like to say thank you to all of you who are joining us, whether you're joining us on TikTok, YouTube, X, Twitch, or Kick. We are currently still experiencing technical difficulties with Meta. We are not on Facebook currently because our account got hacked. And if any of you are familiar with Meta, it apparently is like it takes an operation of the world court to get your account back, even if you provide identification, but they don't mind billing you.
Right.
So if any of you out there have any way of magical sauce that you can pour out to help us get an account back through Meta, that would be great. But currently, thank you for joining us on TikTok and the other mediums. We're glad to be here today, and we're super excited to talk about this. This particular topic is right in the middle of our wheelhouse. It's something that we really strive towards becoming the best leaders we can be.
Right.
So we're constantly wanting to learn. We're constantly on the realization path that we don't know.
Right. Still asking questions. So, I had something interesting happen way early in my career that I think fits our topic today. I've never really been a leader. I think I was a high school sports coach, but that's a little bit different when it's young people, a little bit. So at this point, I'm leading colleagues. I'm running a counseling center and they're working for me. And I've never been a director before, but you just kind of do what most people do. You repeat what you've had. But I'm realizing it's not working because I thought every time we had a meeting, I had to have answers to all the problems. And it was starting to burn me out. So it was not effective leading. So I ended up reaching out to my aunt, who has been a business leader for, at this point, probably 30 or 40 years. I mean, she was in it. She was good. She was very reputable. And so I called her and I said, hey, I have a problem and I don't know what to do. And she thought she was all on top of it. And she says, well, tell me who your team is. You know, my next tier. So I'm the director. These are the director of departments. And she's like, why do you have to give them answers? That's what you hired them to do. You ask them to go get the answers and bring them back. And then now you'll be the final because you're the one that has to present it to the responsible people. That will be at the board of directors. And I go, oh, it just seems so logical the way she put it. And I wanted to share that with you guys. It was a very transformative moment. Now, I didn't know a lot of what we know now in our profession, but that was the beginning of it for sure, and made so much sense after I started doing that. And things went much better. They loved being allowed to be their own leader. They really embraced it, to go out and do the research. It made them feel not just empowered, it gave them a sense of value. And I didn't see that coming, but that was a little added bonus.
That's great. That's a great life lesson. So I'm going to throw a couple of shout outs out there. Marisol, thank you for joining us on TikTok. Camacho SA, thank you for joining us. Hey, if you would, when you guys join, drop a comment. Let us know where you're at. I'd love to know your location. Love to know who we're talking to and where you are. See, Big Ish says, Trump good leader qualities or no? And I'll just say this. I have seen both sides in the public display. Now, we don't know. I've never met him.
Mm-hmm.
I've never shared space with him.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout the years, and I mean decades, that Trump has been in the spotlight,
Mm-hmm.
I have seen on display good and bad leader qualities.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly, I have no clue. I'm going to have to make an assumption because he ascended to the highest office on earth.
Yes.
That he displayed some positive leadership qualities
Right.
in order for people to put that much faith in him.
Right. And I'm going to have a similar assumption just because of the results of his career. And I'd like to think he probably did a little bit of both. There were times he felt like he had to have the answer. And then there were times in a big business like he has, he's like, I'm going to have to start asking questions.
Right.
I need experts to come in, whether they're in the law or banking or maybe materials, because he was a builder. And he said, well, I don't have to know it all. But
Hey,
I need
Wickedy Split. Sorry to interrupt
That's
you,
all
Chuck.
right.
I'm just giving shout outs.
And so I'd like to think that there are good leadership qualities there.
Well, I sure hope so.
Yes.
Because he is, as they say, the leader of the free world. And while you may hate him or love him, either way, we have to hope and pray that he behaves as an effective leader.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I mean, he seems to overall
Yes.
behave with a lot of effective leadership qualities. So what's your opinion, Big Ish? I'd like to hear it. And did we respond to you well? So Wickedy Split, aka Kevin Bailey, I'm glad you joined us today. It's good to see you. Bob for Oso, it's good to see you. Thank you guys for joining the show. If you would, like I said earlier, drop a comment and let us know where you are. What's your location? We just like to get an idea of who we're talking to and where you're at and what you're going through. And if you've got any questions for us while we're talking, we definitely like to engage with the audience. We'd love to have your comments and your thoughts on our subject matter. Today, we're talking about how to spot a fake leader and then how to discover a real leader or a good leader. And we said it that way. We phrased it that way very intentionally because a fake leader will show themselves.
Yes.
And the Space Madness said it's my favorite phony Christians on TikTok. Scarlet Buckeye says, is this a Christian show? So Scarlet, we are Christians. The show we talk about a lot of topics, and we've had people on here from all walks of life, from all different faith practices, different denominations, all kind of things. So I don't pick up my Bible. It is sitting right here. I don't pick it up, thump anybody on the head with it. But we come to this from a Christian perspective. And so we don't judge anybody else.
Right.
And Space Madness says, did you know that 40% of homeless people work full time, not homeless by choice? No, I didn't know that. That's fascinating. And what are you calling work? I'm curious, Space Madness. Just curious if you wouldn't mind defining that a little bit, because some people define work as holding a sign up saying, please help, God bless. And that is a form of effort.
Yeah.
They are standing there selling the idea that they need free money.
Right.
So they're doing something.
I mean,
So Space Madness, if you wouldn't
Yes.
mind, define that a little bit.
right.
Marisol, my children, my husband, and myself, we are Trump supporters. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Nope.
I voted for him both times.
Mhm.
That he ran, actually all 3 times. So I'm with you. But I will say that I cannot say that he is perfect, just like all of us.
Yeah, he's a human.
One thing that I find very fascinating about Trump, since y'all want to talk about him, and it seems like every show we do, people definitely want to talk about him.
Mhm.
He's easy to talk about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of subject matter there.
That's right.
So one thing about him, love him or hate him, he doesn't seem fake.
Right.
He doesn't seem
Right.
disingenuous. I do think at times he changes his mind.
Okay.
I do think that he can, pull a 180 on you and go the other way if he sees that his direction was wrong, or
Right.
maybe his idea wasn't working. He'll change his mind.
And in and of itself, is that a bad thing? I
No.
know I've done it in life. I'm pretty sure everybody else has had some point where we became more enlightened and we're like, you know what? I need to look at that differently. That's not going to work the same way I've always seen it.
So Space Madness says that is a gross response to my prompt. I guess he's talking about the homeless people working.
Oh.
And then he says, you can't be a Christian and support Trump. Well, I'm doing it right now. And I don't judge you for the way you think or the way you believe, and whatever you do in life, you walk your funky path, Space Madness. That's totally up to you.
I'm sure that there are Christians who support people that we would not support
Exactly.
for all kinds of reasons. I mean, we live in an industry area around here, and a lot of our folks don't vote the way we vote because it fits maybe their union narrative or something like that. Okay. I mean, I don't know that that's what I would consider, but that's definitely what they consider.
So Space Madness, I missed the comment earlier because we were talking, says that full-time work is pretty clear. Well, I'm going to tell you this, Space Madness, where we are currently in the location that we're in the middle of downtown Beaumont, Texas. And around our office at any given time are homeless people constantly walking around.
Yes.
And our office that we were in before we moved to this building was about a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also there were homeless people constantly walking around.
Right.
And I will tell you that I talked to many of them on random occasions. And I'm talking to you, Space Madness. So I don't know where you're from or where these stats come from, but none of them had full-time jobs, actual gainful tax-paying employment.
Right.
Now, many of them would hit up anyone who would give them the opportunity. They would hit you up for money. They would ask you for money, and I would give them food, or I would offer them help. I would even offer to help them find a job. They didn't want to work, though. They would even tell me straight up, I don't want to plug in to society.
Yes.
I want to live this way. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of flies in the face of your statistic. I don't know where it came from, but I tell you this, I heard an interesting thing one time, and it's probably true. I don't spout it as though it's true, but it was that more than 95 statistics are made up right there on the spot.
Oh.
So,
Like that 95
more than
number.
95%
Yeah, I love that.
of statistics. So I don't know,
One of
Space
my
Madness.
favorite, I used to, honestly, Rob, back when I was more of a news watcher, I think that started to become one of my favorite sports was to listen to these experts come on. They'll do that. They'll go 95% of Americans. And I'll be like, how do they know that?
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of people, man. You're telling me 280 million people believe what you just. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So William Tell says he's chimed in. Thank you for joining us, William Tell. He's also been a viewer of ours, a part of our audience for some time, and we appreciate you. But he says, have you ever heard of mental illness? And that is a true thing. Yes, we do have a mental illness crisis,
Yes.
a lack of
Yes.
proper dealing with mental illness in our country. And we have a bad perception of mental illness
That's right.
in our country.
That's right.
We are not honest about what mental illness really is,
Right.
the impact of it on our society. And we're also not honest about the best practices for dealing with people who suffer with varying forms of mental illness.
Exactly.
Then you have to go even further into that and say, okay, the causes of mental illness. Some people develop mental illnesses or have mental illnesses
Mhm.
from birth
Yeah, it's organic.
or genetic
Or
impacts
genetic.
on them
Mhm.
who cause mental illness. Then some people do it to themselves through overuse
Right.
of drugs, alcohol, or other instances. Then some people are in tragic accidents
Yes.
and have traumatic brain injuries,
Mhm.
and they experience mental illness.
Right.
So there's all these different types of mental illnesses and what cause them, and then the impacts that they have on their bodies and their minds and their families and society. And this is something we don't deal with well
Not well.
here in America.
If I may, one of my earliest jobs was working for what in our state we call community mental health. And so there were outpatient units, but there was also an inpatient unit. And eventually I shifted to the inpatient unit, and I got to see firsthand what you're referring to. Unfortunately, the only system we had by and large, if you didn't have a good family member, then the police would bring people in on a mental health warrant, and then we would treat them. But it wasn't the best treatment. It was the best that we had. And so there, I agree with you, and I've watched it for decades, the shortage of attention that issue has in our country. And I hope one day that will be better and better. I know we try to do the best we can to respond to people in need, but some things get beyond our abilities, that they require more of a system, and maybe it'll get better one day. And I appreciate you being out there campaigning for that.
Well, I'm gonna throw something out there that is near and dear to my heart and near and dear to our show, and hopefully it is to our audience as well. And that is the mental illness experienced through post-traumatic stress disorder and all its related
Yes.
aftermath, and from our service members and first responders
Yes.
here in this country.
Yes.
We owe them our freedom.
Yes.
We owe them so much more.
Right.
And in my opinion, as worthless as I may be on every other count, this is something that I'm very passionate about.
Indeed.
And we got to come together on this and figure this out. I don't care if you're
Right.
Republican, Democrat. I don't care
Right.
if you're libertarian or
Right.
a communist, whatever you think you are. These people fight for us so that we can be all those things.
That's right. That's right. They fight our wars. They actually respond to our emergencies. They have to go in and they have to attend to things that most of us may never even see in a lifetime. And I know that for a fact, Rob, because I have several of them come in my office on a near weekly basis. It's not the majority of the folks I visit with, but they come in and man, they are telling me stories I didn't even want to know. So my job is to help them compartmentalize it so they can have normal lives just like you and me.
William Tell's picking on my clothing a little bit.
Oh,
Not to get off topic, he says you don't button the bottom button of the vest so it doesn't flip up like yours is doing. Normally, I wear a sport coat. It's
Yeah.
hanging in my office.
Yeah.
I've got a little valet,
yeah.
and so I'll take that. Yeah, and Cody says, Cody, and is that Cody Glenny? It's good to see you, Cody. Thank you for joining the show. Cody says the VA is a joke, and that is a fact. That is one of the most disappointing things that we
Yes.
offer our service members is the Veterans Administrative Medical and Mental Health System.
Right.
It's not much of a system.
That's right.
It is I believe it's one of the leading contributors
Mhm.
to suicide among veterans
Sure.
because they treat them like they are not important.
That's right.
They treat all of them,
Right.
but especially those with mental
Yes.
difficulties.
Someone once told me, this is a veteran who went through the VA, thank you, Cody, and said they treat us like they're stuck with us. And I thought, wow, that's quite a phrase. He said, not everybody in there. Sometimes you'll meet good staff, but generally speaking, the system treats us like they're stuck with us. And that's so unfortunate. It breaks your heart because they deserve so much better. And but I want to get back to our clothing. So today we got Fat Boy and the Sharp Dressed Man. Take it or leave it.
So We won't digress a little bit and talk about clothes. I don't really know how to wear a vest. I ain't gonna lie to you. I just started wearing them a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I did it on a whim just to see, and I like it.
Yeah.
I like the way it feels. I
Yeah.
like the way it looks.
I mean, you have
And,
to admit, he looks good today, right?
I don't know about all that, but
Yeah.
I just like them, so I
Yeah.
started wearing them. Yes, Cody says that the VA treats you like an inconvenience, and that's a fact. And the sick thing about it is the service members who are in active duty get treated like they're an inconvenience by the medical staff, by the mental health staff.
Right.
My son is in South Carolina right now serving our United States Navy.
Right.
And in PT, but in the Navy, in PT,
Mhm.
he broke his leg. He broke his leg. You know what they did? Almost nothing.
Oh my word.
And then he gets depressed because he feels like he's gonna, get put out of the program that he's in because it requires a lot of focus and a lot of scholastic ability.
Right.
And when you got a broken leg and whatever, they didn't put him in a cast. They didn't do anything to immobilize it. They gave him a pair of crutches and told him to get back to class. Basically, I'm paraphrasing.
Wow.
And that to me is one of the biggest disservices that we could provide our men and
Right.
women in uniform. That's minor. That's nothing compared to what so many go through. Imagine, like, I know, Cody, I know you've been in places where things happen. I know you've been through some stuff.
Yes.
And I actually want to have you on the show, by the way, as a guest. We want to document your story.
Mhm.
And for those of you who haven't seen it yet, we had a guy named Aaron Harding on here
Mhm.
a couple weeks ago, and then before that we had Clint Robinson, and both of these two guys are combat veterans,
Mhm.
both of them.
Yep.
And they both experienced severe PTSD,
Right.
depression.
Right.
They both battled with substance abuse as a coping mechanism for their trauma.
Right.
And both of these men are representatives of this problem,
Yes.
this, I don't even know what to call it, epidemic
That's a good word.
of poor
Go with
treatment.
that. That's right.
We owe
That's right.
them better.
That's right.
So when you vote for a representative, when you vote for a U.S. senator, or even a state rep,
Mhm.
ask them about how they feel about veterans and how they should be treated. Ask
Right.
if they're going to be someone who stands in the gap and
Right.
helps bridge the needs for their mental health as well as their physical health.
Yes.
And what will they do about it?
Right.
And then the rest of us, like we have offered before, I'm going to tell you this again right now in this particular moment in this show. If you're with us and you're a veteran and there's anything in the world that we can do to help you, we'll do it.
Yes.
If you need to talk,
Yes.
if you experience depression, if you have thoughts of hurting yourself, if you have thoughts of hurting somebody else,
Right.
just talk about it a little bit.
Please.
And I offer myself and Chuck offers himself.
Yes.
You can find us. You can message us on here. My phone number is available at any time. It's 409-284-1540. That's my phone number. If you call it, it's going to ring. It's sitting right here. And I make myself available to you.
Right.
If you're a service member or first responder in this country and you need somebody to talk to, your life's worth it.
Yes, it
You're
is.
worth it. Not just because of what you did for our country, but you as a person have value still to bring to this
Yes.
nation, still to bring to
Yes.
your community,
That's
still to bring to your family.
Right. Yes.
Never give up on yourself.
There-
Promise you you're worth it.
There is a purposeful future out there for you, and we would be honored to help you reclaim that. Yeah, and I'm not going to overwhelm you with numbers. You got Rob's number. Rob can contact me, and we will definitely make ourselves available.
You know, we've got a guest on here that's making a comment. I wouldn't normally dignify something like this with response, but I'm going to because it kind of it's tied in with this.
Okay.
And this is they go by the handle Bo Jiden, and I'm sure that's really tough to figure out. Hard to live with yourself after killing civilians in Iraq, Libya, and Afghanistan. Boo hoo. Now, I'm going to make the assumption that is a very snide remark.
Yes.
I'm going to make the assumption that you yourself, Bo Jiden, have never served in any capacity any other human being.
Right.
But what's further that I'm going to make the assumption is that you definitely never served your nation. You definitely never fell under chain of command of any kind. I'll say this. I don't know a single service member that I've ever met from Vietnam, World War II, Korean conflict, Iraq, Afghanistan, from anywhere. I don't know any service member and I've met hundreds, if not thousands.
Mhm.
I've never met a single one who voluntarily hurt or killed a civilian
Right.
of any kind.
Right.
I've never met a single one who really got pleasure in killing a combatant.
That's right.
Now, maybe you've never met any. Maybe you've never talked to any. Maybe it would help you to ask somebody some questions so that you could learn for yourself what's in the heart of these people.
I challenge you with that. Go and find a veteran, especially a veteran of a foreign war, more specifically one that's been in combat, and see what their take on it would be. Because I would bet you they've worked very hard to live with what they wish they did not have to do every day, every single day.
And the disgusting thing is that you don't realize is if it weren't for those men and women in uniform serving this nation in the way that they do, you wouldn't be on here doing what you're doing right
That's
now.
right. That's exactly.
You
right.
wouldn't have the freedom to run your mouth or run that keyboard like you're so big and bad.
Yes,
It's those people who did what they did to give you the ability to do what you do.
that's right.
So you may as well thank a veteran for you being able to run that smart mouth you got.
Right.
So back to where we were. I'd like to say a huge thank you to our servicemen and women
Yes.
in whatever capacity that you may find yourself serving or have served. So thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you to our first responders, whether you be police, those guys that carry those buckets with that water in it. What are they called? Oh, firemen.
Firemen,
Bless
yes.
their hearts. Those guys. No, I'm kidding. EMS, all these guys, man. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Mhm.
You know, thank you to nurses.
Yes.
Thank you to nurses and doctors who work emergency rooms in our
Yes.
country.
Yes.
You know, they see some crazy stuff.
every day.
So thank you.
Every
Thank you
day.
to everyone who serves in those capacities. And you talk about mental health.
Yes.
Those emergency rooms, especially the ones we got around here, and I'm sure they are mirrored all over the nation.
Right.
These people with mental health issues that are homeless, where do you think they go at night when they're looking for a place to stay?
That's right.
They go to the ER.
Go to the place that's open,
Yeah.
and that's 24-hour hospitals, and many of them are prepared to do something to help, but they still have limits.
So Lorraine, thank you for joining us, Lorraine. She said she hears this a lot. I'm going to guess that you're referring to our Bo Jiden person over there. And what's crazy is Bo Jiden, those people, bless their hearts, they think that they are so knowledgeable and wise, and then they support not even knowing, what gender you are. Bless their hearts. And yeah, I said it. And I don't hold anything against anyone, but know who you are. If you're going to be a particular thing, make the decision and go with it,
That's you.
and don't penalize everybody else.
That's right.
So, but anyway, Dog Lover, thank you. Let's see who else we got on here. Kim McIntosh. It's good to see you, Kim. Kasni Rutha, good to see you.
If it's the Kim I know, it's
Yeah,
it's
it
the
is.
Kim, my friend.
Yep. Good to see you on here. Glad you've all been here with us.
Yeah.
So today, our purpose of the show is to talk about leadership and how to identify, how to see a fake, how to spot a fake leader,
And discover
and then how to discover
a real one.
a real one.
Yes.
See, real leaders are interested in one thing. Do you know what that one thing is? Make sure my vest is not flipped
Yeah,
up.
you don't want to be flipping.
That one thing is the truth.
Yes.
What they're not interested in, real leaders
Right.
are not interested in just being right.
Yes.
Because being right is wrong.
Yes.
Just being right is wrong.
Right.
But seeking the truth is always wanting to be curious,
Correct.
right?
Right.
And one of the fallacies with that, and we see it so much on social media, so much all the time, people
Yes.
talking about facts.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
Well, what's a fact? A fact is a thing that was done once before, or it's a historical reference to something that happened.
Yes.
That doesn't make it the truth,
That's right.
because a fact can change.
Mhm.
It really can, and that's crazy, right? And facts can be used to manipulate the truth.
They can.
But true leaders are seeking truth.
Always.
They're not seeking the ability to manipulate and use facts
Right.
to influence and change your mind.
Right.
And I hope that you guys see that when we do a show like this, we're not doing this to try and use facts or knowledge to influence or change people's minds.
No.
We seek the truth as well.
All the time. And we often ask questions such as, if we're in a situation, like we teach a class, hey, let's talk about what went well. But we always ask ourselves what could have gone better. At the end, when it's fresh, is there anything that happened today, Rob, or anything that happened today, Chuck, that could have gone better? Because I like to think that puts us in a position to be good leaders. And
Hey, Tisha Tucker.
because that's what we want to be when we're leading our courses too. We don't want to go in there with the presumption that we have all the answers. And they will ask us questions, like they'll ask you questions. If you're a business leader, well, you're the boss. You tell us what to do. You're like, well, wait a minute. I may be the boss because I take the most risk, but that don't make me the smartest person in the room.
And honestly, I hate that term. I hate the word boss.
Yes.
I actually kind of, in my head, when I hear that, it's more of a sarcastic term than it is a term of deference. And in my humble and worthless opinion, a leader doesn't have to be called boss.
No.
There's no need for that.
Right. Have you found that people that in our current retail industry, you get called boss a lot?
All the time.
I do too. I don't perfectly know what it means. I just go with like, okay. So,
Well,
but maybe it's sarcasm. Maybe it's just their way of being of acknowledging me as the customer.
Keystone, thanks for joining us. Deb Z, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. If any of you would like to join us live to talk about anything today, let us know. Drop a comment.
Mhm.
And like I said earlier, Deb Z, that's a funny thing. Deb Z says, I think boss reminds me of someone that has been in jail. And that's a funny thing you say that, because when I was serving as a police officer,
Yes.
anytime I got called boss, I knew that person had done time, either in county or in prison, because it's true. They call all the babysitters,
Yes.
they call all of them boss.
Okay.
So that is a
Wow, I didn't
fascinating
think about
point.
that.
Thanks,
Good
Deb Z, for pulling that out. I'd kind of glazed over that and
Yes.
hadn't thought of it in a while. But
Yes.
thanks for bringing it up. Now my PTSD is going to start kicking in.
So I might be asking a little bit much for, I know you guys are very good at these brief line responses, but have you had a good leader, and what made them a good leader? Now that we've given you these dynamics, not someone you spot, but someone you discovered after working with them, like, that is a good leader. What made them a good leader?
So that's fascinating. Deb Z says our feed is skipping.
Hmm.
Do you mean like it's glitching? Because on our side it looks smooth, but of course it would. I don't know. Hey, Texas Heart Doc.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
Hey, man.
We have not forgotten about you either.
No.
We definitely are
No.
planning to bring you on. We want to do a story on you. Just so you guys know, we don't talk about this aspect of our practice too terribly much, but we moved into this facility where we're broadcasting from about 3 weeks ago.
I think so.
Is when we moved in here. We started using this studio inside this vault, the Vault of Purpose. This is the first iteration of the Vault of Purpose.
Yes.
But we started using this studio about 6 weeks ago. Is that right?
Probably. Yeah.
6
Right.
weeks or so.
A couple months.
And what's about to happen is our building that we're using as our facility was sold, or it's in the process of being sold. Our landlord had someone come in and make them an offer. So we're going to be moving again. But wait until you see the next iteration of the Vault of Purpose.
Yes.
So Texas Heart Doc says they praise in public and criticize in private. That's very true. Very true.
Yes.
And they also, a real leader, a true leader, always looks for a way to construct through the opportunity of correction.
Yes.
They don't look to tear down.
Right.
We're not looking to hurt somebody. That's a great point, though.
That is.
Thank you
that
for
is.
bringing that up. Deb Z
Right.
says it plays for a minute and stops, then continues, but hasn't happened since I mentioned. Well, maybe you cured it by saying it. Thank you, Deb Z.
Very good. No, but thank you, Texas Heart Doc. That is exactly right. They praise in public and criticize in private.
100%.
That's right. Those are the teaching moments, or when they're in private. That's right.
Barry Collins, thanks for joining us. It's good to see you on the show today. So, do any of you have anybody that has been an example of a quality leader that you've discovered in your life? And what did they do for you that helped you be better
Right.
in yourself? Because a true leader will always have that kind of an impact on a person.
Yes.
They will always be looking for ways to deposit into people
Right.
because they operate from a place of abundance.
Yes.
A real leader, a true leader, never operates from a place of lack. So they don't have to tear somebody down to feel better about themselves. They're constantly looking for a way or an excuse to help those that they serve in leadership, because that's what real leadership is.
That's right.
It's a service. It's an act of service. It's a way of influencing others so that they can be the best versions and become the best versions
Right.
of themselves.
Right.
So do you have anybody that's influenced you, that's deposited positive things in your life, that's been a great impact and influence on you? We'd love to hear about it.
Mm.
And what's important about that is it's a wonderful and very powerful thing to show gratitude to those who help us.
Mm.
It really is. It actually builds you up. The moment you say thank you,
Mhm.
you actually add to your own well-being.
Absolutely.
You increase. And I bet Texas Heart Doc would double down with what I'm saying.
Yes.
So when you show gratitude to people, there is a physical impact that takes place inside your body,
Right.
and it's a healing thing.
Right.
It actually makes you better physically
And
when you behave with gratitude. So
Yes.
let's hear some gratitude about people who have been
Right.
positive influence and positive leaders in your life.
That's right. Because, gratitude is the prerequisite for abundant thinking. I'm thankful for what I have, therefore I'm thankful for what I'm also about to have.
That's right. So this is a great one. This is a handle, okay? So this handle is, if you are a Democrat, you must. I guess there's an ellipsis there. We just can't see it, but thanks for joining us on the show. It's good to see you. Jan King, 2244, it's good to see you.
I hope you have that on autofill. That's a lot of typing every time.
Larry Brown, 213, it's good to see you. Thank you guys for joining us today. We've had a lot of fun. Tom, it's good to see you. If any of you have any comments or any questions that you'd like to leave, yes, Deb Z says everything, including behavior, good and bad, comes back tenfold, at least
Yes,
tenfold,
that's right.
at least. It definitely comes back with compound interest,
Yes, it does. Good or bad.
good or bad.
Yes, and we share that often with folks, especially those that invite what I like to say a spirit into their life, and whether it's one of thankfulness and gratitude, or whether it's one of greed, whatever it is, whether it's one of security and they're trying to put that into others, or whether it's one of insecurity, whatever I'm in, that's going to just keep coming and coming. You're so right, and that's a warning we can't give enough to people who get into some pretty bad ways sometimes.
Well, I was hoping that we'd get to see Lisa today.
Okay, yeah,
Lisa from last week's show that joined
our
us.
brother. Yes.
Lisa, I hope you're doing well. If you see
Yes.
this, I hope you're doing very well. We pray for you. You've been in my prayers every day.
Right.
Chicago Dad, neither one of you studied American history, and it shows. How does it show?
Yeah.
And I apologize if I've let you down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about this particular thing, but
Mhm.
please help me understand what I've said that is a poor reference to American history.
I believe I studied the history they made me, and then some, but that's okay.
Well, I'm still learning.
Oh,
I'm not finished.
Absolutely.
I actually really love studying American history.
I do.
And I also find that every time I dive into it, there's so much more that I never saw before.
So maybe there's something we're not referencing. Let us know what it is about history that you would like us to know.
Yeah, so Chicago Dad, please feel free to enlighten us. Send me something. If you can, send a message with a link to something. Teach me.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. I love to learn. So if you got something I need to know and need to learn about and would help me grow as a man, as a person, please, as an
Yes.
American, whatever it takes,
Whatever it takes.
send it to me.
Yes. We are open to learn.
Yeah. So is there any comments that any of you have? Oh, Chicago Dad says, do you know what the Ludlow massacre was? Not offhand. I know about Black Wall Street. I know about that. I know about a lot of different stuff, but that one doesn't come to mind straight offhand.
Out of curiosity, did that have anything to do with Rockefeller in Colorado? So let me know, Chicago.
No, you're right, Deb Z. Deb Z says you'll have haters on here too. Don't worry. Don't take it personal.
Mm.
The devil attacks. Yeah, we don't
Thank
take
you.
it personal.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you. So Chicago Dad says yes.
Oh, well, look at me.
Very good.
And I stumbled on that. I have family that I think lives near where that encampment was, and I've seen the mine. The
So
openings
tell
of
me
the
what
mine.
happened.
So
I'm the only
apparently
one out.
There was they were mining for whatever ores made steel and what have you. It was a mining community. They lived very impoverished, and it was owned by indirectly or indirectly by the Rockefellers, if I'm not mistaken, Chicago Dad. And at some point there was a strike, and they sent in some version of like the Pinkertons to put them
Oh.
down, and they slaughtered a bunch of people. It was and most of the miners were unarmed. It was really, really bad.
That's terrible.
Yeah, they were living in like tents and lean-tos and all this. And so if you ever go to southern Colorado, just north of Trinidad before you get to Pueblo, it's off the beaten path. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's you are correct. That was a horrible thing that is part of what we want to call the robber baron history. You know, there are a lot of those things happened. And I hate to say the same thing happened to Andrew Carnegie's business when he was out of country, and the guy he left in charge did the same thing, but at one of the plants. I don't know if that has a name. You might know that.
Yeah, and just to touch on this a little bit, we don't deny the truth of history.
Right.
We respect history, and we want to remember and learn from the truth in
Yes.
history. And it's very important to understand that we are where we are because of where we came from.
Yes. Good
Not-
and bad.
Yes, not in spite of it,
Right.
but because of it.
That's right.
So the good and bad that happened in our past, they're not things we need to forget for any reason.
Right.
They're things that we must remember and honor, the good and the bad,
Mhm.
because if we don't, then we will repeat them.
That's right.
And
Right. So part of that good leader, real leader, is the discovery of what has worked and what hasn't worked. A fake leader presumes that they always have the answer, but a real leader gets to go back and look at the victories and the mistakes.
that's right. So Chicago Dad says, so should capitalists have the ability to get rid of unions? I don't really know how to effectively answer that.
Yes.
I don't feel confident that there's a universal answer to that question.
Right.
I think that question in and of itself is a trap, because either way it goes,
Mhm.
it's not going to be the truth.
Right.
In some circumstances, the unions are not the best thing for the people. In some circumstances, the unions are not the best thing for the employer.
Mhm.
It goes both ways.
Right.
I think that there is a necessity for balance.
Mhm.
There is a necessity for advocacy on both sides. In fact, that's part of the intended function of a federal government
Mhm.
and a state government, is to maintain balance
Yes.
from business to its employees,
Mhm.
balance from infrastructure to the public.
Mhm.
It's intended to maintain balance.
Right.
So there's no straight, simple answer to that question. And it would be foolish of me or him
Mhm.
to answer that as though we're confident
Well,
one way or another.
Definitely to answer it as an absolute, like a yay or a nay. I think Rob's response was good because it pointed out there may have been advantageous things that have happened along the way because of unions, and there may be some disadvantages because of unions. And so I'm not here as an expert on the profit of unions being present or not. I'm not even going to speak on that because I don't know.
So Chicago Dad, I'm gonna repeat what your last question is, Chicago Dad, but I'm not going to engage it the way you seem to want to. It looks like you want to debate union or non-union. It's not going to work because I have no interest in that debate.
Yeah.
But your last thing says, can you give an example where the union has been bad for employees? But it wouldn't matter if I gave an example, because there's examples where it's good for employees too.
Mhm.
I don't argue that because it's not my place.
Right.
Let's see. Marisol says, Hillsdale College online courses offers a great free class about USA history and the meaning of the Constitution.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yes. Great college. By the
Yeah.
way. Thank you for that.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
dropping that on here. That's
Yes.
that's great. And I would recommend that anyone
Yeah.
interested in that take it.
Right.
Take it and consume it. Make it a part of you. Also, there are available through many resources online pocket constitutions. Get one.
Yeah. Which, if I'm not mistaken, I think Hillsdale will send you one. You may know better than I do. And also, if you do anything with Mr. Prater has a lot of online courses that are very constitutional driven, and most of it is for information and a few is for inspiration. But I think you would have very good experiences with both those organizations.
Yes. So Marisol, thank you for that. Thank you for dropping that in the chat there and for everyone else to see and learn from. That was extraordinarily valuable, and it was definitely appreciated. Thank you so much. Chicago Dad said, should the United States have professionally trained standing army? Well, I guess I'm confused. We do. We do have a professionally trained standing army. And yes, I believe we should. I believe that's a necessity for the most valuable, successful nation
Mhm.
that's ever existed in the history of Earth.
Mhm.
I do believe it is a necessity for
Mhm.
us to have a protecting force.
Mhm.
I do believe that.
And I think that should have layers. We should have protective technology. We should have protective civil laws where we live in our community that keeps roads safe and provides for other things. We were honoring some of our first responders later. So I think there are layers of protection all the way to a military that a sovereign nation should have.
Yes. Yes. So do you feel differently, Chicago Dad? Chicago Dad says, does the existence of that army make the Second Amendment obsolete? Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
In fact, it makes it more necessary.
Mhm.
The reason the Second Amendment, best I can ascertain, now I'm not in the minds of the crafters of the Second Amendment,
Mhm.
but it started because we had an opposing or a dominating military force abusing civilians,
Yes.
abusing unarmed civilians.
Mhm.
And so I do believe that,
Who were present at the behest of a dictator and a tyrant.
yes. So I do believe that it doesn't eliminate. In fact, it enhances it.
Mhm.
We the people, the Constitution doesn't give us the right. It just protects it.
Right.
The rights are endowed by our Creator,
That's right.
not given by the Constitution.
That's right.
They're just ensured by the Constitution.
That's it.
And that's a man thing.
That's
That's a reflection of us wanting to quantify
Yes.
what we believe.
Right.
Whether it's there or not,
Mhm.
it is the human right
Right.
to protect your life.
And where our government has gone wrong, I think, Rob, is they've tried to usurp the creator.
Right.
And that's where they've gone wrong. And we all sense it. When it happens, we sense it. And we're like, no, that's getting beyond what God intended. And so I think if we stay on that course, we will do well.
So, Castle Coakley, St. Croix, USVI, thanks for joining today. It's good to see you. OJSHR, good to see you. Chicago Dad says, what level arms should citizens possess to balance the Army? That's a great question. Honestly, and you can argue this, you can be against it or for it. I don't really care. But the truth about this is that a gun is not the problem. A rocket launcher is not the problem. A tank is not the problem. The mind of man and the decisions and behaviors that we exhibit are the problems.
Yes.
A person giving their mind over to evil thoughts
Right.
is going to commit evil.
Right. Right this very minute, us as a community in this show are using technology to participate in a healthy conversation. There are people who use that same technology for evil. And they not only do they try to steal from folks, they try to exploit people. They use it to hurt children. I mean, I'm just giving a few examples. So any weapon in the hands of a good mind or a bad mind is going to expose itself. So let's fight for good. By the way, U.S. Virgin Islands, wouldn't that be cool to go visit that? We need to do a show from there.
Right?
Yes. Thank you for coming on. You
Yes.
just inspired our trip.
Let's go. So, what do you think, Chicago Dad? What do you think is the, as you put it, level of arms that citizens should possess? Because if you go throughout history, more human lives have been taken before the invention of guns than after, with other weapons, sticks, rocks, fire. So how do you argue about guns when the gun is just a recent incarnation? The gun's never been the problem. The problem is the hearts and minds of mankind.
Yes.
Marisol says Victor Davis Hanson is a brilliant professor of classicist, military historian, and political.
VDH, man.
Yeah.
VDH. Love him.
Yes. Thank you, Marisol.
And David Prater. Don't forget Prater.
Right? Let's see. Gary Gates, 480. Good to see you, Gary Gates. Thanks for joining the show. So do any of you have any other questions or comments before we close out? We've been on here about an hour now. We really appreciate our audience. We've had a great show, a lot of good stuff come up. Before we close, I do want to say one more time, thank you. Thank you to you guys. Thank you for being a part of the Pursuit of Purpose audience. But more than that, thank you to our servicemen and women. Thank you to you if you have served,
Yes.
are serving, if you're a child of a veteran, if you're a parent of a veteran like myself,
Mhm.
if you're in our first responders, thank you for all that you do. I believe that it's very very small-minded of us to say, oh, well, they're paid for that. No, they're not paid enough for that.
Yes.
One of the greatest sacrifices and one of the greatest callings is to serve your fellow man
Yes.
at his worst times or his times of need.
That's right.
And that's what all of those people do.
That's right. They answered a call when the call came.
So thank
And
you.
That's right. And similarly as the grandchild of two Gold Star mothers. And if you're not sure what those are, that's your homework. Go look it up. But it affected our family for generations, and we still honor the sacrifice of my two uncles today.
And just to let you know, this show in and of itself is an honor. It is intended to pay tribute to a man who served this nation very bravely and valiantly. He was brought up through the Great Depression. He lived 99 years. And he was the inspiration for the beginning of this show.
Yes.
He's one of our very early interviews. His name was Weldon William Casper. That's my grandfather. And he was in the Army. He was in the Army Air Corps. He was considered a radio mechanic. That was his description.
Yes.
And he served during World War II. So if you're on here right now, you're paying homage to him, whether you like the military or not, just by watching this show.
That's right.
So thank you guys for being a part of our audience. Thank you for your service to our great nation. Thank you for engaging with us today. We thank you for allowing us to become a part of the pursuit of your purpose. We look forward to next week at 10 o'clock. We'll be right here, same time, same place, with a new topic. And we challenge you to bring us something to talk about beyond our chosen subject. Y'all have a great day. I'm Rob,
I'm Chuck.
and we will talk soon.
Question every